Adrie, Vreeke, lovely to meet you.
Good seeing you, thank you.
Thank you so much as well for letting me stay in your capsule last night. I really enjoyed it. Thank you for the time that we spent with Valentina this morning. And thank you as well that you said you're prepared to come along and tell us a little bit more about the birth of your company, your fantastic company, the Capsule Hotels. Valentina was very, very complimentary about you. So either you're paying her very well or you are as nice as she says you are. So
let's see.
All right.
So yeah, a bit about the company. So we started in 2018 to try out if this concept actually would resonate in the European market, which it did. But we came also fairly quickly to the conclusion that the product as such that we obtained overseas wasn't really at the level that European guests would expect. So we developed our own product, our own capsule. With that, we kept on developing further. So we started super small, 4 guys and a trainee, and 2 lovely housekeeping staff members. And now have grown to an operation where we have about 70 people.
70?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
Working for us in 5 different locations, or 4 different locations, and the 5th one coming up.
We just heard about that. Yeah, congratulations.
So that's exciting news for us. Yeah.
And it seems like every location is different. So one of the guys, I think Peter, is the chief design officer, right?
Correct. So Peter takes care of all our designs. He's an interior architect in the basis. And he has a good feel to things, right? So everything that you see is basically his ideas.
Well, I mean, you've got to give him a big compliment from me. My wife's an artist, so I wouldn't say our house looks exactly like yours. It's different, but we have lots of colours, and you know, we live in southern Germany where most walls are white.
I understand.
And when we moved in, he said, "This is going to be a piano black ceiling." I was like, okay, this is a measure of love for me in that moment.
I definitely learned a thing or two from Peter. One of the things that he says, like, if it's not high enough, make the ceiling black, it will look bigger. And actually, I always thought you need to make it white to make it look big.
Look bigger,
so he definitely has a keen eye on that. We always worked with different concepts or different themes, as we call them. So this is what we call the artistic library.
Okay.
It's a lot around books and darker colors, but working there together with local artists. So all the paintings that you see is from 2 local artists here from Lucerne. And then in Zurich we have the Alpine Garden, which is all built around Fabio Zing, who was a content creator photographing the Alps. And his art is displayed there.
Okay, then. And can you tell us anything about Copenhagen? We'll put this podcast out after you've announced it, but I heard there's some pretty funky stuff going on there with apparel, right?
There's a few nice things happening there. So Copenhagen is such a wonderful city, and it has a lot of things to offer. And the concept there is vibrant, colorful, and has potentially the smallest cinema.
Oh, you've got a cinema in there?
Included in the property.
You're joking?
Yeah.
Really?
No, I'm not joking. No, it's a cool gimmick to have, I would say.
Okay, then. Yeah. All right. Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing I like about your hotel is it's not just gimmicks, right? You're not coming to like Disneyland or some adventure or Europa Park isn't too far away from here. You know, it's got a purpose and it works. You know, it's an environment that you can actually sit comfortably in. I feel totally at home here, and I felt at home really quickly. I mentioned I met Luca last night, really friendly guy, and you just felt like you were part of the team straight away, right? And I think that's something that not everyone gets right in hospitality. They call it hospitality. We talk about guests, and you almost feel like you have to knock on the door to come inside. Or
I think what we have done is we have developed the hotel around our guest, including the whole guest journey. So people can basically also on their mobile phone can do the whole check-in before they even arrive. And this whole journey is built around the guest. It's not so much a technical perspective on our end that it's easy. Definitely also helps. But it is built around the guest. And what I really like about it is that you have your private place to sleep. You have the comfort that you can close down, and you have a very comfortable mattress, and everything is great. But then outside you have everything big, and you have big communal areas where you can meet guests, where you can meet like-minded travelers. And we focus really on solo travelers who are typically people that like to connect with others.
And I mean, if I just look at it as well. You know, the other guy that you started the company with is the CFO, right? I've forgotten his name. Was it David? Or
it's Beat.
Beat, that was it, yeah. And so, like on our website, we even say, you know, we've got three things. We like help people to execute good strategies, make strategy happen. Then we help people to earn more money, and then we do things like this: is tell the world about it. So we want to promote your company. We're not getting paid to do this film, by the way, unless we're happy to take a coffee from you later on. But this is not an influencer promotional video. This is about actually inspiring other people to do the right thing. But what we do say on the website is we say with the earn more money bit, so that the CFO can smile as well. We want to look after all the population and not say all those people that count the coins, that they're not important. They should be happy as well. So how do you do that? How do you get the balance between earning money and doing good?
Yeah. So I think in the concept that we have, we can, on a fairly small footprint, have a lot of people to sleep.
Yeah.
Right. So a typical room in any of the smaller accommodations, at minimum, is 9 to 12 square meters.
Okay.
We sleep people on 1.2 square meters.
Okay.
Because you basically have two capsules on top of each other.
Okay.
Both have about 2.5 square meters as a footprint, but with that, we're super efficient. Mm-hmm. And with that, we can actually offer at an affordable rate people to sleep in very expensive locations.
Yeah.
So we have downtown Lucerne, we have a location downtown Basel, we have a location at the airport in Zurich, right across check-in one. So like a 30-meter walk from the check-in.
Yeah.
Those are the locations that typically you would pay
premium prices for.
A fair sum to have a night to sleep. And what we try to do is basically to make it affordable for people. So one of the things that we say as our mission is to make it possible for everyone to travel the world.
Yeah.
And we try to do that in a good way. And with that, thanks to the efficiency, we are able to make this happen.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, I mean, it really is great. And I said to Valentin as well, it really does work here. You know, you can see it's not just an idea that's almost happening, it's actually properly working. And if I think about, the future, obviously you're not going to put on camera your whole strategy and all that sort of stuff, but what's your aspiration? Where's Capsule Hotel in a few years' time? If we talk about 5 years from now, if I was a genie in a lamp and, I gave you 3 wishes, if I gave you a wand, what would you wish this company to be in 5 years?
Well, what I wish it to be is a good question. I think concretely we made a strategy to basically expand further. Okay. So we have been fairly much focused on Switzerland, which for us was a prime location. It's also where we are all located at the moment. But we come from different parts of Europe. So I'm as an example, I'm Dutch from the Netherlands. And then now we are opening in Denmark. Yeah. And we have basically put about 16 dots on the map of Europe where we would love to be. Okay. And with that, basically, we're focusing on growing the number of beds. That's what we count in this space, from a bit over 400 that we have now towards 2,000 beds.
Really? So it's 400 you have now in the 5 locations then? Yep. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's a brilliant goal to have, right?
It's a good one to have. It's an ambition also to get there. We definitely have a few hurdles to cross. Yeah. But we're on a good track, I would say. Yeah.
In my day job, we talk a lot about like unachievable goals, stretch goals, realistic goals, non-realistic goals. And I always say, how do you know if a goal's realistic? Yep. And it's like, people say, well, what do you mean? It's like, well, you don't know if it's realistic. And I say, if you do know something's realistic, then it's a task, right? If you've got a realistic goal, it means it's a task. So goals have to be unachievable per definition, otherwise it's a task.
I think one of the things that we do fairly well is we break them down in small pieces. Yeah. That basically you can actually work on a task to get to the bigger goal. And yes, 2,000 beds is ambitious. It's basically 5 times more as we have today. But 5 years ago we had 20 times less as we have today. Right? So we went from 20 beds to 400. So yes, it's a step up, but it feels like a fairly realistic one.
And it looks like this whole market is growing as well. I mean, what is it? I think the compound growth is over 8%, like 8.9 or something. I think it's like $250 million international market, and it's predicted to be like $500 million by 2030. So.
And especially in the market, and hospitality solo traveling is the quickest growing market. And that's if you look into the market, for instance, China or India, what you typically see is that you first have group traveling happening.
Yeah.
And you see here in Lucerne, there's a lot of groups of the Asian market, a lot of Chinese come over here in bus travel or in group travel. Then they start to travel with the family.
Yeah.
And at the moment that you hit that point, also the solo travelers start to come in.
So it's like the third wave then.
Right. And that's what we now see with China more and more happening.
Okay. Yeah.
There's a lot of Koreans here, for instance, solo traveling.
Yeah.
But India is just picking up.
Okay.
So I think that the market is huge for Europe to expand in that.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see.
Yeah. And the wonderful thing is as well, you're kind of forced to interact with other people, right? And I was saying as well, last night, Luca, great guy, he just makes you feel at home, and everyone felt at home. So everyone's talking to each other, giving each other advice, and do you want to come and watch the handball with us and stuff like this, And then, like this morning, I just met a guy in the bathroom from China as well, and we just started chatting with each other. And I just think I'm so passionate about this. There's so much in the media these days about the further somebody comes away from you, the less nice a person they are. And I've always said there are good people from all around the world. And I think people coming here, you've got like-minded individuals that are looking to explore the world and have a good time and do no harm whilst they're doing it. And I think that's a real benefit to society that really can't be measured in euros and cents or Swiss francs,
No, I fully agree. I think typically the people that have traveled the world have a broader world perspective.
Yeah.
They've seen more different behaviors or different habits from different cultures.
Yeah.
Which also, per definition, makes us less afraid of them.
Yeah.
Right? Because typically if you haven't seen anything yet, basically everything is foreign, everything is maybe even strange in your eyes.
Yeah.
And I think what we see with travelers, and there's also my own experience, like you become way more interested in different cultures and different habits and different belief systems.
Yeah.
And with that, it's an exciting group to host every day.
Yeah.
And it's exciting to see for us. We host a bit over 100,000 people every year.
Yeah.
And they come from everywhere.
Wow, that's pretty cool. That must be. And did you travel yourself before you founded the hotel? Were you a traveler?
Yeah. So definitely. So I think, and it counts for all of us, and also the biggest part of the team. Everyone has traveled in the past, all at different life stages. I would say. For me, a big portion of my travels was happening when I was a young corporate guy with big ambitions. So I traveled for work mainly back then, but with that seen quite a bit of our world. And I always ran into this challenge where you're checking into a business hotel, you go into your room, you get your stuff sorted, and maybe you would go for a drink in the bar and you'd see similar people, but no one is talking anymore.
Exactly, yeah.
And that is one of the things that we here try to do, is basically you still have your private space, but you go out into the open area to meet people, and that we try to make as easy as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think you're doing a really great job. You really is. Is there anything else you'd like to tell our listeners? Is there anything else you'd like to tell the people watching this on YouTube?
Well, I think one of the maybe a takeaway or an idea that we had is like we are four back then we were four partners. At the moment we're with three of us. One of our partners left mainly because they had a great opportunity to go abroad.
Okay.
They have been in Kenya for a while. They're currently in Canada.
Okay.
And the three of us, basically, we don't come from backgrounds where there was a lot of money as such. So everything that we have built with the money that we have earned ourselves, but also with a big community around us. Mm-hmm. So for instance, this airport location that we have built in the midst of COVID, we have done thanks to about 160 investors.
Okay.
All fairly locally smaller investors that helped us out with this big undertaking. And that's wonderful to have as a community around you. So now with the fifth location, we have about 210 investors on board.
Okay.
Who are an active part of the community, who give their input to what goes well, what doesn't go too well, which is not that much, luckily. And we have with that also a very active annual meeting, for instance, where a lot of them show up and where we have a good,
it must be a good party, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can imagine the sort of people investing. I know quite a lot of investors, and you've got investors, right?
Definitely. Yeah. I know, that's a good. That's really a privilege to have them around, and that makes it also possible to build something like this.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, Adrie, Vreeke, thank you so much for taking the time today. Thanks so much
so much
making me a guest in your wonderful hotel.
Very nice having you.
All right then. Great to meet you.
Thanks.